the drain into the waters and he lost it. But a few days later, he went to a pawn shop and he found his boat there up for sale. He said, "This is my boat." He asked the gentleman how much. He gave him the price. The little boy took the money paid for his boat, took it, hugged it, and on his way home, he hugged it close. He said, "You are twice mine." He said, "You are twice mine because I bought you again." And so it is. That's what God did when he sent Jesus. That power of love, it came and brought us back to him. We were sometimes afar off. We are now made nigh. You see, my brothers and my sisters, there is love, not infatuation, not love because of, but love in spite of. The greatest love story. For God so loved that he gave. He led Hosea to marry this woman. It seems very unusual that God would ask someone to marry a harlot, a wife. The Bible, in fact, the King James Version puts it this way, to marry a woman of whoredom. But where God guides, he will provide. Wherever God leads, my brothers and my sisters, he feeds. And the word of God tells us, if we acknowledge him in all our ways, trust him. That's what Hosea did. Hosea took him at his word. And so Hosea took Gomer to be his wife. But Gomer sought outside lovers, just like we're doing. We're after money. We're after money. We're working overtime. And we're after the money. But the dollar will fail. But God love never, never, never fail. He may be guiding you to the valley of decision. You need to follow. He took Ezekiel into the valley of dry bones, and Ezekiel prophesied to those dry bones. Whatever it is, let his love guide you. You see, my brothers and my sisters, the prodigal son, as we would call him, he took his father's substance and went into a far country. But love did not allow that father to rest. That father kept looking days on end down the long, dusty road because of the love he had for his son. He kept looking until in the distance he saw a shadow, something looked like his son. That's what love will do. Love will not close the doors until you're in. Love is that key that opened the door. The power of love. That's what we should live by. That's what the church should live by. We should live by the power of love and not the love of power. The love of power have destroyed many. And if we try to live by the love of power, it will destroy us. But when we live by the power of love, the agape love of God, that love that sent Jesus to the cross. Could you imagine the same crowd that shouted Hosanna on Palm Sunday? It was the same crowd a few days later that shouted, "Give us Barabbas and crucify him." Yet, in spite of, he loved them to the point before he drew his last breath, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they have done." That is the power of love. That is the power of love. As much as Joseph loved Mary, there came a point in time when Joseph was willing to recant and to give it up. He allowed his circumstances to determine his commitment. And so even Joseph was willing to break that love. But I'm so glad. I'm so happy that God never, ever breaks his cycle of love. It's a love that keeps on giving. It's a love that keeps on giving. And I said to you, my brothers and my sisters, the power of love. What we need to do today is surrender our lives to Him and let the love of God guide us. Let the love of God direct us in all our ways. We must love Him and He will direct our path. Sometimes
Check one, two.
He may lead in some areas that we don't think we should go, but with His arms around us and with that love, my brothers and my sisters, sin could never take the place of the love of God. Somebody listening to me today, you don't know what true love is. I'm asking of love. Moses said, an eye for an eye. The problem with this kind of philosophy is that it leaves us all blind in the end. But Jesus came with the power of love, and He said, love your enemies. Do good to them that hate you and despitefully use you. That is the power of love. That is the power of love, my brothers and my sisters. Joseph loved his brothers, even though they put him in the pit, left him to die. But God elevated him because Joseph operated through the power of love. And even when there was that famine, his brothers' eyes were blinded because they probably operated on the love of power and they did not even recognize their brother. They did not even recognize their brother. But through the power of love, Joseph recognized them and he was able to rescue them in that famine so that they may have food to eat. That's what love would do. That's what love has done. And so we're telling others about this love. The love of God. No wonder one songwriter declares, the love of God is greater far than pen or tongue could ever tell. It reaches to the highest star and goes to the lowest hell. The writer said even if the ocean was ink and the sky was paper, he said even to write the love of God, it will drain the ocean dry and there would not be enough space in the sky